Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Sports, and this is the NFL Week 5 Pick'em Live. So appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode where we go through and pick what we think is going to be the final outcome. I know college football, we had some really good success last week. Fairly decent in the NFL, but today has some very intriguing matchups. I know a couple people get the notifications start popping in. I see, what's up, Deathclaw? Good to see you back in the house and doing a little bit of the sports thing. So what were your thoughts about the college? We have to talk about the college football picks yesterday because I know you guys were definitely on some of them. I was so close to really running the table with those yesterday. My three-team lock yesterday was Penn State given 14. It ended up, as the game kicked off, ended up going up to like 16.5. Michigan State plus 10 was an outright winner. Unbelievable with that. And the real killer for me was Florida State. I had Florida State in a three-teamer and had Florida State in a five-teamer. The Florida State I had with Texas A&M, who covered easily, West Virginia, who covered easily. So listen to this five-team, and you guys have it documented from yesterday. It was Michigan State, Penn State, West Virginia, Texas A&M, and Florida State. And that late touchdown by Miami to win by 4 points actually killed both of them. Unbelievable. So we're going to roll through and talk a little bit about the NFL. This is going to be pretty quick. We're going to fly through this relatively fast. So let me just kick it off and start out the first slate on the board. You can see is the Bills and the Bengals. Here's a couple stats too. I know when Tommy jumps in, we'll ask Tommy if he can give us an update. Because Chip, you had Florida State by 7. Yeah, I had Florida State winning outright. But even if Miami did win outright, it would have been nice if they would have. 3 would have been a push. So yeah, it was back and forth. And it was 10-3, then 10-10, and Florida State goes up by 3. Then Miami goes up by 4. Then Florida State goes back up by 3. And with 11 seconds, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, they did let them drive down the field. Maybe we get a field goal and we pull this thing out in the overtime, but it just didn't happen that way. Sudden death was not meant to happen yesterday. We'll check with some statisticians and see with today's games. This is the first time in a long time that I've seen. Here's a couple stats that I'm going to give you. I didn't look these up from anywhere. I just noticed when I was going through. There is only one team in the NFL today favored by more than a touchdown. That's Pittsburgh over Jacksonville. Everybody else is within a touchdown. These are some of the closest point spreads I've seen in a long time. So today probably would be a great day to go with teasers and add 6 points the other way. So, for example, if your team's getting 1.5, you add a teaser to it. Now you got 7 points. So, when point spreads this close, that might be the way to go instead of people going with parlays. But also, here's stat number 2 for you guys. Is I think that this is the first time that I remember seeing everybody in the AFC East as favorites. New England was a 5-point favorite. Buffalo is a favorite today. The Jets are a favorite today. And Miami is even a favorite today. So when is the last time you've seen, with those doormats in the AFC East with Buffalo, Miami, back to above 500 last year, but also Miami and Buffalo, as bad as they've been, how long has it been since everybody in the AFC East has been a favorite? Forever. I can't remember the last time. So let's roll right into it. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give you guys my picks. We'll talk about a couple of the what we think can be some surprises today. But starting out the slate, 1 o'clock games, we've got Buffalo. You know what? I'm going to scratch that. I just misspoke. Cincinnati is actually the favorite today over the Bills. So just scratch what I said. I'm a little surprised by this because it is at home, and I thought I saw earlier in the week that the Bills were a 1-point favorite, but Cincinnati is a 3-point favorite, so either there was a big swing or I misread it earlier in the week. So scratch the stat with the AFC East. But anyway, Buffalo is 3-1. Buffalo is coming into this game as a 3-point dog at Cincinnati. Cincinnati 1-3. Once they fired their offensive coordinator, they started scoring in the Packers game, and also last week they finally get a win over the Browns. Not hard to do, but Buffalo 3-1. Are they legit? They went down to Atlanta and beat Atlanta. Can they go into Cincinnati and get the win? I am going to take Cincinnati at home for one simple reason. I like that they're spreading the ball around. I like that they got an identity now. Bill Lazor calling the offense, running the show. People know that once the offensive coordinator goes, that the next person that could go could be an actual player. I like Cincinnati to get this win at home in a very, very hard-fought game. I think Cincinnati gets the win 24-21. I am not sold. I know the Bills have played big. I mean, 3-1, this is no joke, and going down to Atlanta and beating Atlanta. But I do think that Cincinnati, this is Cincinnati's season. Cincinnati is 1-3. If they go 1-4, they're done. If Cincinnati wins this game, they're 2-3 in an average division. I definitely think that this is their playoff game. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati 24-21. Let's move on to the next game. And the next game is the 2-2 Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns will get their first win of the season. If Cleveland can't beat New York, they go 0-16. And because I do know the Jets have clawed out a couple victories, but Cleveland's at home. They got their their star defensive player making his debut. I think Cleveland gets a hard-fought win here. 17-16, Browns, first win of the season. I don't see the Browns going 0-16. I think if there is a game that they're going to win, it has to be this game against the Jets. Otherwise, ain't going to happen. Cleveland has played tough a couple games. They played Pittsburgh awfully tough. I think playing today will be enough to beat the Jets. I don't know where Westwick is. I'm assuming Westwick is at the Detroit game because this is a home game for the Lions. I called a lot of heat early in the season, right? Picking the Lions to be a good team. They have the best defense in football. Their front four is amazing. So I got the Lions 3-1 against the Panthers. Detroit's a 1.5-point favorite. I am going to take Detroit at home to win the game and to win a little easier than people think because they look like a 1.5-point favorite. I got Detroit 28-20, covering the point spread. No problems with Detroit today. Moving on, here we got another winless team. We've got the 49ers 0-4 coming into Jacoby Brissett's dome. The Indianapolis Colts are favored by a point. This is going to be another tough one. The 49ers under Shanahan, they're hungry, but Indy has played pretty good football for the most part. I know Seattle had their way with them in the second half. This one is one of those that's too close to call. Do the 49ers go in and get the job done behind a pretty stout running game and a couple veterans? Or does Jacoby Brissett? You know what? I'm going to go San Francisco. Shanahan gets his first win as the head coach of the 49ers. Let's say San Francisco 24, Indy 17, Colts lose. I'm with you, Tommy. So I got two 0-4 teams getting their first win of the season today. All right, the Titans and the Dolphins. Titans coming in 2-2. The rumor is that there will be no Marcus Mariota today. The Dolphins are playing at home. Strong running game with the Dolphins. Really got to get on track. I'm going to take the Dolphins to run the ball 45 times in this game. Just run, ground and pound until you can't ground and pound no more. Yes, I am taking the Dolphins to beat the Titans without their star quarterback. Dolphins will go to 2-2. Titans go to 2-3. Dolphins coming in 20-16. Dolphins cover the spread. Giants and the Chargers. Well, somebody has to win here. So we've got another battle of 0-4 teams. The Giants are a 3-point favorite. The Giants will get their offense on track today in a very, very big way. The Giants put up 31 points on the Chargers. 31-20. Giants, no problem with the Chargers. Odell Beckham, super, super big game and a big fantasy game. He had a sore ankle, had a dislocated finger. Word is he's playing, and Eli to Beckham will happen many, many times today. I'm going with the Giants, and I say that if you got a fantasy, one person to pick on fantasy, take Beckham today. It's just my thought here. Giants get their first win, go to 1-4. Eagles and the Cardinals. This is a big game. Cardinals can go to 3-2, and actually, this is how big of a game this is. The Eagles are 3-1, and the Cardinals are 2-2. The Eagles are one game up, but if the Cardinals beat the Eagles, the Cardinals go into first place via tiebreaker. So both teams have something to play for here. If that weren't the case, I don't always pick against Philly. Tommy, I'm going to give you the kiss. This is the kiss of death, Tommy. I'm picking the Eagles. So if I pick the Eagles, you never know what's going to happen. I think the Eagles get out with a win. You know, Cardinals still missing David Johnson. The Eagles are going to be solid against that passing attack of the Cardinals. I'm going Eagles, going to win 27-23. Eagles barely cover the spread. Tommy, I got them by 4 too. No, sorry. Eagles do not cover the spread, 6.5. Cardinals cover the spread. So take the Cards. Jaguars and Steelers. Jaguars coming in at 2-2. Pittsburgh coming in 3-1. Pittsburgh is a 7.5-point favorite. Pittsburgh covers every bit of the 7.5 and then some. 38-17 Jaguars fall on their face, although Leonard Fournette will get 2 rushing touchdowns. He'll still be a fantasy star for everybody. Pittsburgh scores big. They spread the ball all around. Look for touchdowns by big games from Le'Veon Bell, big games from Brown, Jesse, the tight end. Yes, you know who I'm talking about, Jesse James, the one and only. Take him as your fantasy tight end today. I think Ben's going to just throw the ball around all day long. Okay, and now, to really the game of the week. Who would have thought that this might be the best game on television? It is the Seahawks and the Rams. Who would have thought that at this point in the season the Rams would be 3-1, the Seahawks 2-2? The Rams have a chance to send Seattle into complete disarray. Now, and the Rams historically have played Seattle pretty tough. Even when Seattle was good and they were in St. Louis won a couple of those games against Seattle, like 9-6, so on and so forth. I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams to start to change the way the West looks. I'm a believer. I thought they would be out of it multiple times. The Rams' only loss is against Washington. I know Seattle is apparently got this big, bad defense. I am not seeing it. I think the Rams take care of business at home, send Seattle reeling. If I match up offense to offense, we can't live by who Seattle used to be. Jimmy Graham, who he used to be. Who Doug Baldwin used to be. They have no running game in Seattle. Eddie Lay, I mean, they are just a complete mess. Rams offense. They can spread the ball out. They can do some things. Their defense is going to be more solid at home. I'm taking the Rams. Very, very nice win today for the Rams. 24-16. Rams cover the spread. Rams are a favorite against Seattle. And they are playing at home. I think that crowd is going to be behind them. I'm a believer. I'm taking the Rams today, not only to beat, but to beat by more than a touchdown. So let's move on to the next one. No David Carr today. I do not like the Raiders in this game. I'm just going to come out and tell you right from the start. The Ravens have been solid with the exception of the game where they had to fly across the country. They did not play well in that game. I think Flacco comes up in a big way against the Raiders today. Flacco he's got to prove he's a franchise quarterback. The Ravens go into Raiders and beat the Raiders without David Carr 20-17 by a field goal. Raiders are a 3-point favorite without their quarterback. It ain't going to happen. All right, let's get the Packers and the Cowboys. Somebody tell me why Dallas is favored in this game. I know it's back-to-back home games. There's no way. I am not betting against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to go up and light up that very, very bad. If you think the Rams lit up Dallas's defense, you wait to see what Aaron Rodgers does today. Aaron Rodgers will have a field day. 41-24. Packers in a blowout, in an absolute blowout, not even close. Don't even think about taking Dallas in this game. The running game will be nothing once the Rams get up by, or once the Packers get up by a couple touchdowns. Mark it down now. Cowboys lose in a big, big way. I'm right there with you, Tommy. Tommy's got, Tommy, we're close on a few of these picks. Tommy's got the Cowboys losing by 15. I got them being blown out by 17. Not even in the same league. And the Chiefs and the Texans, Kansas City against Deshaun Watson. What a story that has become. The Chiefs go into a tough place. J.J. Watt will be right there with them. I think Texans pull off a big victory against the Chiefs. Chiefs get their first loss of the season. Chiefs 4-0, Texans 2-2. Kansas City only giving 2 points on the road. I'm going to go with the Texans to pull off a mild upset. I don't think it's going to be a big shocker to people. Texans 24, Kansas City 20. And that is our full slate of games. So I'm going to give you a real quick recap. And, of course, if you guys missed it on Thursday night, you probably didn't. I liked New England I like New England to go down and get the win. I will say that they did not cover the spread. The spread was 5 as of game time, and they won by 5. So and that was one of those reversals. I think early in the week, Tampa might have been a slight favorite over New England, which was a little shocking. I think I saw by kickoff it was a 5-point spread. So a lot of people were not comfortable with that outcome, New England winning by 5 points. So let me give you a real quick recap of my picks for the day, and then we'll let you guys take off because I got fantasy to do. I got FanDuel. I've got a lot of different things going on. I got to figure out my lineup, and we will roll through one more time. And missed Westwick, but he always watches the playback, so he'll know exactly who we're picking in this. And if you guys missed it, I do want to say this one more time. Obviously, there's no such thing as a lock in these games. But Tommy did put me on the spot yesterday and said, "Hey, Kills, do a 5-teamer." So I do want to recap my college football 5-teamer for those that missed it at the beginning of the show. So my 5-teamer was Michigan State, Penn State, West Virginia, Texas A&M, and Florida State. Michigan State plus 12.5 at kickoff. Michigan State won the game outright. Penn State minus 14 covered the spread. West Virginia was getting 13, covered the spread. Texas A&M getting 26.5, covered the spread easily. So a 5-team parlay that I had was blown up by Florida State. Florida State down by 7, ties the game at 10. Goes up by 3. Then they're down by 4. Goes up by 3, 11 seconds in the game. You think, all right, at this point, Miami's probably going to kick it, tie the game up. We're going to go to sudden death. Maybe Florida State wins in overtime. Maybe they lose by 3 and it's a push. But no. Miami scores with 6 seconds. Now, the irony to that is if they would have scored on the last play of the game, they would not have kicked the extra point in college football. So Miami could have scored that touchdown with no time remaining, and I still would have pushed on a 5-team parlay, which would have kicked it down to a 3-team or a 4-team parlay payout, which would have still been pretty nice. And the 3-team parlay I had yesterday was also Florida State, Michigan State, and Penn State. So, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it with how I told you to take the U because I've heard that from 3 different people. You can't say I told you to take the U when somebody scores with 11 seconds to go in a game. Come on, guys. You know better than that. It's one of those things that you're screwed either way. If you got 11 seconds, if actually with a minute to go in that game, here's the question I want to ask Tommy. I want to ask you and Kale. With a minute left in the game, and Miami's got the ball 3rd and 10 at their own 35-yard line, neither one of you were texting me saying take the U when Florida State was up by 3 points. So I'm just saying. It was a tough pill to swallow. Just saying. So I'm going to tell you today, I'm going to pick. They drove the ball down the field with a minute to go. I'm not saying they didn't deserve the win, but I'm saying with a minute to go, even if you look at odd probability as live betting, Miami was about a 5-point underdog with a minute to go. So that's how quick the odds changed. So I felt pretty good with a minute to go that to be in that situation. Yeah, well, the update with a minute to go, Kel, would have been Miami expected to lose by 5.5 points, not win the game outright. Things happen. Anyway, that's sports for you, and especially college sports. It happens a little crazy. But I would have much rather it been a last-second play and they scored the touchdown, and they would have won by 3. So at least that would have happened. All right, real quick recap, and then we got a lot of fantasy stuff to get into. And I'll pick you guys a 3-teamer today. So I'm taking Cincinnati 24-21 to get the win over the Bills. Cleveland gets their first win of the season 17-16. Detroit takes care of business against Carolina. Carolina, big letdown after last week. 28-20 Detroit. San Francisco gets their first win of the year 24-17 on the road. Also, I'll take Miami against Tennessee 20-16. The Giants 31-20 in a big way at home. The The Eagles 27-23, but do not cover the spread against the Cards. We got Pittsburgh 38-17 against Jacksonville. The Rams 24-16 taking care of Seattle. We also got the Ravens 20-17. The Packers, no problem with Dallas on the road 41-24. And Texans will get a win versus Kansas City 24-20. So here we go. I am going to get a three-teamer, and it is going to start first and foremost with the Steelers. So I like the Steelers to win big at home. Also, I like the Packers to go in and take care of business at Dallas. And then my third big play of the day is going to be the Giants. So I'm taking the Giants, Pittsburgh, and the Packers. And if you really, really want to lock it up, do it as a three-team teaser and switch all those points around and get 6 points on your side today. So that is it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is 999 Sports. This is, it's hard to say fast. We got about a 30-minute, about a 20-minute broadcast, so we got through all of those. Appreciate everything that you guys do, and look for some more updates a little bit later on throughout the day. I'll talk to you later on. Peace.